Dan, we've checkered history with interviews. How do you expect this one to go?
Um, Hopefully better than the last couple anyway. I seem to be in better form, better lack of alcohol in the system, I think, anyway.
Yeah, well, that was the All Ireland final after beating Kilkenny. What's it been like coming back to the club? Did it take much time to readjust from the inter-county to come back? And I suppose to some degree being expected to lead one team after being so hugely involved with Tip.
Yeah, there's always that little bit of pressure on you that you have to perform for your club. I think we got a little bit of a break after the final because the Tip 20s were in the final as well, so that gave you a little bit of an extra break. But look, overall it's been excellent. Like we've had a journey that we didn't really see happening. I suppose at the start of the year our sole focus was going to be on the county championship and trying to get that county championship that we didn't have in so long, and everything kind of seemed to kick into place. We kind of seemed to be hurling with a bit of a freedom after we won that, and it's after taking us to an All Ireland club final.
But like the year overall, if we jump back to your time with Tipperary, did you see an All Ireland coming out of Tipperary this year?
Yeah, I would have had. Yeah, I thought we would have been thereabouts. I know obviously we had a poor year the year before, but there's probably a lot of different factors. You had 4 games in 4 weeks that year. You would have suffered a couple of injuries as well, and things just didn't seem to go well. But again, this year, I think our big players came back very fresh, and then you saw that with the way they hurled that, they kind of carried us over the line for a finish.
And like this talk of a journey when you're with the club team and it keeps rolling from week to week to week. Is that something that you've been able to appreciate this year?
Definitely, I think we have a huge amount of momentum behind us. I think it really helped as well the fact that we only had a 5 week gap between the semi-final and the Munster final, because having spoken to a couple of fellas from Tumivara over the years, that they always felt that they found it very hard to get the balance right between a Munster final and a semi-final. I think one year they stopped training until a couple of weeks before the match. Another year that they went hard as they could for the full lot. So I think we kind of managed to break fairly well in that. We had our 2 challenge matches. We played Kerry, we played UL, and we were fairly fresh going into the game as well. And our hurling was quite sharp, and it kind of told down in Limerick.
Like 4 to 5 brothers in your family, Christmas Day at home, and not a drop being taken between you, I suppose.
No, not a drop. There's a huge amount of my body being taken alright, and it was just, I know. Look, but like we enjoy doing it. Like it's, if you would have been told this time last year you're not going to be able to drink because you're going to be in an All Ireland club semi-final, you would have taken your hand off it. And it's just one of the smallest sacrifices you have to make, and everybody in Borris is only delighted to do it.
Yeah, I mean the buzz in Borris-Ileigh is brilliant at the moment. After going to the bar and Joe's after the All Ireland semi-final, it just seemed like everyone's had a smile on their face. I don't think I've ever seen Borris like that before.
Yeah, like it's all anybody wants to talk about, no matter where you go, what shop you go into, the butcher. Like everybody just wants to talk about the match, and there's a huge amount of goodwill. Everybody is behind you, and you get the sense that the whole of Borris is going to be up in Croke Park on Sunday. But again, kind of as a player, you need to distance yourself a small bit away from it. At the end of the day, you have a job to do, and you really want to perform, and you need to perform if you want to beat Ballyhale.
Because all the experience is on Ballyhale's side, all of the All-Stars, the hurler years, that kind of thing, whereas on the Borris-Ileigh side, okay, like Brendan has obviously mentioned a huge amount, but after that, it's a workman-like team versus an All-Star type team, is how a lot of people would perceive it.
Yeah, definitely, and we're kind of after getting the tag that we're a very dogged team, and that we kind of grind teams out and grind wins out. But again, at the same time, we have a huge amount of skill within the team as well. If you look at our 2 youngest players, Kevin and JD, and the way, you have to remember that they're in their first year hurling for Borris Senior, and the impact they're after having is absolutely huge. Conor Kinney then the last has stepped up, and no matter if somebody isn't performing, there's always seems to be that one player that's able to turn it on when things aren't going well for us, and there has been days where some of us haven't performed and somebody else has stepped up, which is a great sign of a team too.
It's very hard going for the likes of JD and Kevin Maher that a couple of days after the All-Ireland final they have to go and play a Harty Cup. Just the fact that these lads are even in school, it's insane that they're then about to step out into an All-Ireland final.
Yeah, and of course, obviously everybody in Borris is quite worried and nervous that, to just make sure to get through the game. But then, you heard feedback from the game itself, and that Kevin was supposed to be one of the best men on the field, and JD got that last minute winner. And again, everybody kind of adds that little bit of, it gives the Borris-Ileigh senior team something as well, in that, obviously you're delighted for the lads, and they're in a rich vein of form. Their confidence is high now at the moment, and hopefully they'll be able to carry that into the game on Sunday as well.
I presume you'd be a very proud man looking at the Borris-Ileigh colours all around Croke Park.
Definitely, we've always, and you'll be the same. You've grown up hearing all the famous stories about Borris-Ileigh getting the train up, and the cock out in the field as well. And
To clarify, that's the symbol of you
the
can
crest,
see it
it's on the
here.
crest as well. Yeah, nothing. But yeah, there's great history and tradition within the club, and it's going to be a proud moment for everybody. But again, you have to reiterate the point that you have a job to do, and it's an All-Ireland final, and you're there to win the game. Of course we're proud. Of course, it's a great achievement to get there. But people often talk about how you're in bonus territory now, and it's great to get this fair. But anytime you do, you really want to make the most of it, because it's taken so long to get back here for the club that it mightn't happen for a very long time again.
The way I probably asked you before about it's great having your other brothers on the team. Do you ever be nervous watching your brothers go for a ball? Like, and obviously James is in goals.
Yeah, James alright a little bit at times. You wouldn't really know what he's going to do, but again, the only thing you would say about having brothers on the team is you'd probably be a little bit harder on your brothers. If they made a mistake, you wouldn't be long and letting them know about it, as opposed to one of the other lads on the team. But again, it's not something that you'd overly think about. I would have grown up hurling with Sean mostly underage, and Ray would have hurled with James quite a bit as well. So again, it's something that's just have to kind of come together as well. And you often see the two Kennys as well, and throughout most club teams you have a set of brothers, and I think Kilcoo have 5 brothers on the team as well. So yeah, it's a nice touch as well. All right.
When I was in my teenage years, I used to go out to your house to get Matt's grinds off your mother. It was nothing but ye lads. You were all the same as far as I was concerned, running around baiting the heads off each other playing hurling. That was just always the way for you, wasn't it?
It was. I think most families in Borris were the same. There wasn't much else to do rather than go down to the GA field or hurl up in the back lawn. But not sure how the mass grinds went for you, to be honest.
Well, I went back to past mats eventually, so that's a reflection on the McCormack family.
Yeah, that's a reflection on her grinds, obviously.
Yeah. So, and I presume your parents are absolutely buzzing going into. It's like having 4 sons out there.
Yeah, no more than any other parents. It's not. It's obviously nice for them, and it's nice. The fact that they're actually winning, and we're winning competitions, we're winning big games. But again, everybody's proud. It's not just the first 15 or the panel of players. There's huge goodwill even throughout. You'd kind of be surprised to see the amount of people that are wishing you well, and even the clubs surrounding Borris-Ileigh that are, there seems to be a huge amount of respect for Borris-Ileigh and what they're after doing and what they're after achieving so far.
Because it's underdogs pretty much every day. I was at the quarter final against Drum, probably even, and this is in Tipperary, probably even underdogs back then. So that's just fine by you.
Yeah, it seems to be something that's kind of working well for us. I think Drum was the only game that we would have probably went in slight favourites for. Going in Killarwan, Killarang and all those games, we would have went in as the underdog, and maybe it kind of leads to playing with a little bit more freedom than you would have been used to. There's probably not as big an expectancy outside of Tipperary as well when we won the county final, that probably thought that that they're after achieving their goal now and they'll settle for that. But as you climb up the ladder and you get closer to the big prize, you start to believe that we're after beating good teams here, and we could go on to do it.
I think one of the funny things about this sort of club run is players that normally wouldn't get too much exposure. There's now a bit of focus on them. For example, midfielder Tommy Ryan Foot getting interviewed in the Irish Farmers Journal with all the photo shoot of him out on the farm. There's good fun around that.
He is brilliant, and Tommy's after getting a little bit of stick. I think the heading underneath the photo was the Upper Church man, so I think his home address could be, I'm not sure, but there is, and it's excellent. Everybody's enjoying it. The media work is probably spread out. Liam Ryan has done a good few interviews as well, and James, brother, has done a few, so it's nice, and everybody's doing their fair share of media work as well, which is nice to see.
And what do you think it would mean to Borris if Borris got the job done?
No, look, it would be a huge occasion. Everyone's supporting us, everyone's going to be there on Sunday. Obviously, it's going to be a huge occasion going back to Borris on Sunday, and we believe, we do believe that we can pull this one off, because we're after beating some good teams. It's a very similar situation to the game where we went down to Cork to play Ballygunner, another team with a star-studded team and a huge amount of inter-county players. So, we're just kind of focusing on being ourselves and bringing the best out of ourselves and really trying to perform on Sunday.
Because it's such an all-star team for, Michael Fennelly, Hurler of the Year, TJ Reid, Hurler of the Year, Colin Fennelly has a few all-stars as well. Like, I think everyone is expecting Ballyhale to win what would be their 6th All-Ireland. Their 8th All-Ireland, and means they would have averaged one every 6 years since they were founded.
Yeah, and look, we were under no illusions how difficult it's going to be. They are a star-studded team. Even look at their forward line alone. I think they have three All-Stars almost in the forward line. You know, you kind of look for a weakness, and they don't seem to have one. They're an excellent team throughout the field, and they've hurlers of the years, as you've said. But look, you know, what can we do? We have what we have as well, you know, and there's different things that I'm sure they'll be looking at us. You know, we'll probably pose them problems in certain areas as well. And, you know, you have to go with a strong belief that you're going to win on Sunday.
Johnny Kelly versus Michael Fennelly.
Yeah, I think there was a photo doing the rounds as well. Johnny looking at his watch, Michael Fennelly behind him. So how long was it going to be till Sunday? How many hours till Sunday? So yeah, it's a good bit of stick he's getting at the moment. But you know, I'm sure there's no better man to take it as well.
Good man, Dan. Best of luck on Sunday.
Very much. Thanks a million.
Thanks for watching Our Game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.